And then Laguna added something even more controversial. Hello my friends, it's Tom Hatsis, and this is Dr. Laguna's Witch's Ointment. Were witches' ointments real? And could physicians have stumbled upon these mixtures centuries before words like psychedelic were ever coined? Today we're exploring a nearly forgotten experiment from 1545, conducted not by a witch or a magician, but by a Spanish physician and scholar named Andrés Laguna. Before we get started, if you're into this kind of content, please give this video a like and a share, subscribe to the channel, and find me on Instagram at tom.hatsis. Laguna was no fringe alchemist. He was a well-respected physician, humanist, and translator of medical texts, notably those of Dioscorides, the Greek pharmacologist whose medical ideas shaped European medicine for centuries. In 1547, Laguna published his first edition of Dioscorides, critiquing earlier errors made by other authors. But by 1555, when he published a new edition of Dioscorides' Materia Medica, something very noticeable and curious had changed. He now described a strange and powerful plant that the Italians called stramonium, a nightshade species known for causing vivid visions and entheogenic enchantment. In the earlier text, the one published in 1547, Laguna had warned that ingesting solanaceous plants like henbane, belladonna, and mandrake led to unpleasant delusions. But by the 1555 version, that description had changed. Now the visions were described as pleasant, even dreamlike. And then Laguna added something even more controversial. I believe that datura is the active part of those ointments often associated with witches. So why the sudden change of tone? Did Laguna know something that other physicians didn't? Let's rewind a decade and go back to the mid-1540s, when Laguna was working as the municipal physician in the city of Metz, in southeastern France. Outside the city lived two reclusive hermits. When authorities searched their home, they were looking for witches, they found a mysterious jar of ointment. By giving a deep inhale of the ointment jar, Laguna could tell that it was made of what he called the coldest soporific herbs, like hemlock, henbane, and belladonna. Now I went and checked some folk medical books of the time known as leech books, and it seems like this was actually a well-known ointment called a poplar ointment. And yes, it is highly psychoactive. Curious and cautious, Laguna decided to recreate the ointment for himself. But he didn't use it to fly through the air or have what we would call entheogenic experiences. Instead, he used it to help a woman sleep. She had been tormented by insomnia and was totally convinced that her husband was cheating on her. No remedies so far had worked, and so in the company of several witnesses, Laguna applied the ointment to her skin. And then, they all sat back and watched. Her eyes widened like a rabbit's, and then she fell into such a deep sleep that it lasted for some 36 hours. Until she was finally awakened by force. Laguna and the other witnesses ended up beating her to wake her up. Probably not the most pleasant way to start your day. Her first words, however, were rather interesting. She looked at everyone in the room and said, "Why in an evil hour did you awaken me? I was in the midst of all the pleasures and delights of the world." Then she told her husband that while she was away, she had cheated on him with a younger and more handsome man. The intensity of her dream revealed something very deep about the nature of these ointments, namely how solanaceous plants can be used to experience otherworldly realities. And perhaps that was the real flying that was taking place. Not through the sky, but through the vast terrain of the mind. Laguna's experiment gave a rare scientific weight to rumors that had circulated for centuries, that wise women, dubbed witches, were using these ointments to enter these otherworldly states, not just in myth or imagination, but what we might call entheogenic realities. And while he didn't call it psychedelic or entheogenic in any way, how could he? Those words didn't exist yet. Laguna's notes nonetheless echo exactly what we would expect from those kinds of states of being, especially from plants like datura, which have been used by cultures all over the world for spirit communication and visionary states. So what did Andrés Laguna really uncover? He wasn't trying to practice witchcraft. He was just trying to ease suffering. But in doing so, he may have validated a deeper truth, that these kinds of ointments, long feared and mythologized, held real, powerful effects on the human mind and potentially the human soul. So what do you think? Do you believe these ointments were just doorways to dreams, or tools to enter trances, or real ways that wise women had what we would call entheogenic experiences? Let me know in the comments below. And until we meet again, I'm Tom Hatsis, your Entheo historian, reminding you that you free your mind by using your brain. Peace.